Oh, jeez. Hopefully that's not picking up too much of the wind. Hello. I figured I'd do just a quick little stream today. I'm quite a bit early versus what normally I would do, but I have the time, and I heard the last game for week 1 has been played. So, I think I'm just going to do just a quick little reaction stream. I was told it's a game of all time, so we're just going to give it a spectate. We're going to watch the replay today, and we're going to just give it a quick review. Blue, Black, and Chat. Yeah, I'm just going to do my review. Out of curiosity, you know, I wanted to stream all the week 1 games at the very least, so I'll give this one my reactions. And just to see how it kind of went. I'm very curious. Oh no. Alright, well, that's already off to a great start. Whoa. What the hell? Jupetta subscribed. Thank you so much for the subscription. I appreciate it. I don't know why it didn't play the notification. I feel like it scammed you. I apologize. Oh, fuck. I'm so sorry. You know, I feel bad now. Damn. Let me get myself situated here. Okay, there. Alright, so today's match was between Cat Bomb and his Vanillas versus Nook and the Rock Hards. I'm gonna turn on the music. It feels loud in my ear, so if it's a bit too soft on your guys' end, please let me know in the chat. But you know, Jupiter, thank you so much for the subscription. I do appreciate it. It means a lot. Let's take a look at the teams here. Capcom's team honestly is super scary. His roster, insane. Being able to snap pick the Great Tusk and then the classic Sneasler Rillaboom combo, really, really good stuff. Sneasler actually has a lot of utility. It's actually a surprisingly flexible mon, which I have kind of grown fond of. I don't use it that much in my play, but I know a few people who do, and that thing just puts in the work, you know? Dundozo is also another mon that I think, you know, would perform really well here. It's just a bulky fucko. You know, this fish just kind of sits on people and just, you know, doesn't die, takes every hit you throw at it, and then it just kind of heals back up as if nothing happened. Ditto is also a really spicy pick. I would take Ditto most of my games if I were Cat Bomb. But I'm not, unfortunately. I almost wish I had this draft, I'm not gonna lie. I like everything on it except maybe the Murkrow. So the Espathra is really interesting. I know the standard build on this is usually like a Calm Mind speed boost set with stored power to round it out. And I've been given just a little spoiler from the game that we're going to react to. Apparently the Espathra puts in work, so we're going to find out how good this set really is. Sableye, great pick too. Just a good all-around utility mon. Prankster, obviously a classic for setting up screens. This isn't doubles, so I can't say Tailwind, but screens, quick status. I think it's like Thunder Wave. I don't know if it gets Will-O-Wisp. I feel like it doesn't, but you know, priority status is really, really good. Kieran, you know, toward the end of his draft is kind of nuts. This mon just hits like a truck. It's got crazy base stats. Ice Dragon is actually, I think, a really good typing. Somewhat weakness laden, but it's got crazy good offense, and it's got a relatively deep move pool, so it does have some real good potential. The Gambit's another classic mon. Like, this thing has just been an all-star pretty much the entire generation, ranging from VGC to, say, like, OU singles, so I'm not at all surprised if this thing comes out. And we closed his draft with the Farigiraf and Murkrow. Farigiraf, great mon, great support mon. Armored Tail is so good. I I'm not sure how good it really is in singles. I know it's really, really good in doubles. Um, but yeah, no, I think that's one mon to kind of consider. And with a certain setup, I think it's Kudchu, I believe. It's either Kudchu or Sepsipper, one of those. So it gets some extra flexibility in that respect. But I think you almost always go Armored Tail, to be honest. Now let's looking over at Nook's team. Nook actually has a pretty good setup here. I think he's got a lot of options as far as, potential, team comps. Nailing the Gouging Fire first pick actually pissed me off. That's a mon I had my eyes on and was really, really hoping to pick up. Oh, man. I used this thing in Portland Regionals. I really liked it. And I was so heartbroken when I didn't get to pick it early. I didn't expect it to go that quickly. I knew a lot of people were trying to pick some of their pet Pokemon or mons that are just generally really, really good. Hence, Greninja, Dragapult, Slowking, Latios, Great Tusk, Walking Lake going first made sense to me. Gouging Fire going that early, I was like, God damn it. I wanted this thing. He's awesome. I know his potential really well. So it was a mon I was hoping to play with, but alas. And Mew as well is another great pick. Very solid support. Kind of another does everything kind of a mon, as kind of like Smeargle, but with a better stat distribution and with actual stats behind it. So I really like these picks. Into the Swampert, Rhyperior, Venusaur. This makes for a really, I would say, a pretty bulky core. Venusaur also pairs incredibly well with his Ninetales pick. Was this round 6? This is, round 6. This is super crazy to me, He very telegraphed, I'm going this really aggressive Sun team and a Rhyperior. Basically, the Swampert's got some flex picks. The Rhyperior kind of also is just a bulky asshole, but I really like it. I'm a big fan of Rhyperior. It's actually one of my favorite Pokemon of all time. So I'm also very sad that I couldn't get Rhyperior, but I'm hoping Nook, for his sake, I hope he can make it work. I really enjoy this thing. Blue Black in chat. Oh, gee, I had to go wait because he snagged Gouging for T1. Otherwise, I would have been. That's fair. Both of them are really, really good in the Sun. I think Wake might be slightly better just because it's a Sun-oriented water type, which is a really odd niche, but is really, really, really good in my opinion. I really like that. Nook also rounding out his draft pool with things like the Jolteon, which is probably one of the best Terra Captains in the format. Florges is another good one. It's just it's a solid fairy type. With Weavile and Bronzong Rabsca closing out his picks. With the Weavile and Bronzong in particular, I think are really solid choices. The Weavile going this late is insane to me. Most round 9 picks were not really around that high of a points total. A lot of people were picking pretty average stuff. Whoa! Geppetto with the gifted sub. You're insane. I love you. Thank you so much. I don't have a webcam because my webcam sucks. Thank you, Logitech. But I am smiling. You've made my day. Hope this goes on YouTube. It absolutely will be. YouTube.com/@gloriouscorn42. But yeah, no, I think, at a glance, Nook's draft is really, really good. Bronzong, Ninetales, or Jolteon are really good Terra captains, and I'm just mad. Ninetales Venusaur is such a Gen 5 thing, I played a lot of Gen 5, Gen 6 back in my younger days, and playing Sun, such a good time. So I'm curious to see what they ended up playing today. My prediction would have been for Nook, it's something like Gouging Fire, Ninetales, Venusaur core. Get that really good Sun team going. With Bronzong and I don't know, Weavile for coverage and maybe the Mew. Because Mew's just so flexible, Cat Bomb, if I were him, something like Sneasel Rillaboom core is just so good. Rillaboom sending the Grassy Surge, and then the Sneasel gets its pick of going Grassy Seed, Acrobatics. It's with a booster item is really nice, or it can go just generally good offense, or it can kind of go utility. But with the Grassy Terrain from Rillaboom, it's got that sustain power. A lot of options with that. Great Tusk, I feel like, is a must almost every week. Just because Great Tusk is so good, it's so bulky, and it's got so much utility packed into it. And probably like Kyurem King Gambit is also really good, I feel like. Kyurem, obviously, just a kind of just a monster special attacker, or even physical attacker, actually, because I think it gets Scale Shot. Like Scale Shot loaded dice. I think it also gets Icicle Spear. So that set actually is kind of scary, and into Nook's team really goes hard. Picking up like the Ninetales for free, a Scale Shot could actually pick up the Gouging Fire even, and I think after the +1 speed, it might even outspeed it, which is crazy to me. And then Gambit is just an all-around good mon. It can kind of just click Sucker Punch into most of Nook's team, like potential team comps. And then Sableye, I would even consider Sableye the team because it's just such a good, support mon. Sets up screens, which is great. Can apply status, which is great. And Nook doesn't. I think he generally doesn't want to be taking, fast paralyzes or even burns if I get the option. I generally don't remember. I do apologize. I don't remember if Sableye gets Will-O-Wisp. If it does, Jesus Christ, this mon's nuts. But all in all, yeah, I think that's something like what I would take if I were Cat Bomb in this situation. But we're going to tab over here. I do have the replay up. I think what I'm going to end up doing here is I'll go one normal watch through, and you guys can have my raw reactions, and then I'll probably do just a little bit of a turn by turn, seeing where I think plays could have been done differently or what I would have done in these scenarios. So we see the leads here, and this is almost exactly what I think I said I would take if I was Nook. Gouging Fire, Ninetales, Venusaur Core is super good here. Weavile has a lot of options here, I think, into Cat Bomb's team. It can hit the Espathra really hard. It can actually even hit... I think the Great Tusk doesn't enjoy taking a triple axle to the face. And then the Muse, just I think an overall good support pick. It kind of does whatever it wants, be it apply status or just kind of be overall annoying. And then Bronzong is actually a really nice pick here, I feel, because it doesn't particularly hate staring down the Kyurem. Kyurem's going to kind of struggle, I feel like, to hit it, especially if I think it gets Levitate. So you do have the option there to kind of reduce, mitigate one of your weaknesses with either. I swear to God, if I'm wrong on this, if it gets Levitate, that's really good. Alternatively, even if I know it gets Heat Proof, so that gives you kind of an out against potential fire coverage options. But it doesn't seem like Cat Bomb has brought any of that, which is super interesting. His lineup is really nuts to me. Sableye lead makes a lot of sense. I assume that's what he'll do here. The Espathra, I know, kind of popped off. And I think with that, the classic speed booster calm mindset, it can really put in some work after it's set up. It's going to be really hard to deal with, but, there are ways to kind of get through it, especially if you catch it early. The Dundozo, I said it earlier too. This one is just such a fat bastard, it's just gonna sit. However, into the sun with Venusaur, it's gonna have a bit of a hard time. I know it gets some coverage options, but Venusaur also just kind of hits really hard, so that'll be really interesting to see how that lines up with the King Gambit in the back. Kind of just clicks whatever it wants. The thing is, if it's positioned poorly though, I don't know if the suckers are gonna pick up, Gouging Fire. So if that positioning is, played really well here by Nook, I can see it being, actually a good kill here. Pour yourself a drink preemptively, mate. Well, I do have a bottle of soju at my desk at all times for reasons. So if I do need it as we go through the replay, I can lean to my right. You'll need it by the end. Alright, bet. And I think Cat Bomb here is packing Kyurem and Great Tusk in the back. Honestly, again, great mons here. Kyurem, absolute beast, and Great Tusk, another absolute beast. So we'll just go through it. A lot of text here. Leads are Sableye into the Ninetales. Drought comes up. Sableye goes for the light screen. That's really smart. The Flamethrower comes out from the Ninetales. I don't know if I would have agreed with that. I would have set up the sun probably left. The T-Wave here missing is crazy good. This Flamethrower comes out. Again, doesn't really do very much into this leftover light screen. Para actually sticks, and there's a paralysis turn on the Ninetales. Sableye goes for the switch out. Espathra comes in. The burn hits the Espathra, which is really good, and it nails the burn That's super nice. Takes a bit of chip, ignoring that recovery here. Goes for the substitute, but Ninetales stays paralyzed. That's a bit brutal. But at the very least, the Spotter's not gaining anything except that speed boost. Oh no. It is it the it is Calm Mind speed boost. He's just gonna click Sword Power now, isn't he? The Weavile comes out. Calm Mind comes out again. This should be like a pretty good answer here. If the only main move for the Weavile, Mud Slap? The knockoff connects, which is really good here. Clears up that substitute. But Espathar's just way too fast here, and the Weavile's staying in at a -1 accuracy. Goes to the... I think that's an incorrect move here. Going for the low kick. Knockoff would have been better here. Doesn't even break the sub, which is so unfortunate. Another accuracy reduction with the second Mud Slap. Knockoff connects here. Breaks the sub, which is excellent. Now, if this can connect one more time, this actually just picks up the K on the Espathra, but half accuracy is brutal. Knockoff misses! No! Bro! Oh my god, the Mud Slap comes out here. I would have switched a while ago already. This is a bit too rough here. I'm going to actually slow this down so I can talk a bit more. Mud Slap comes back out. The accuracy drops yet again. The knockoff misses because he's not switching. This is a I think -5 accuracy Weavile. That's so brutal. And the last Mud Slap picks up the KO. Oh no. Oh no. Well, the Ninetales comes back out, sets up the Sun again. It's still paralyzed. The Sword Power is just going to pick up the Oko, though, because it's at +2/+2 special attack, special defense, and +4 speed. So that is a +8 to the Sword Power. Sword Power is just going to pick up this KO for free. And +4, you know, at max speed. I'm just going to whip out my calculator real quick here, guys. That snipping tool. Come on now. Because he's at 4 times here? Oh, lordy. So assuming this is even... Let's go even min speed here. And 193. Assuming basically 0 investment. 772 speed. Outruns pretty much the entire team. I know Venusaur very well. In the Sun, it doubles. But even at 568, it's not going to get anywhere near this Espathra, which is so rough. Nook didn't know about sub keeping Pokemon typing in its defense. Oh. I mean, fair enough. You know, live and learn. I understand this is his first time, but... it's just, it feels a little bad, you know? So Venusaur gets knocked out. The Sun's still up. Espathra isn't healing up, which is good, but it's just so set up. It's going to be rough. Gouging Fire speed comes out. Even at +1 speed, it's not going to live. It's not specially bulky whatsoever, and it just gets the easy KO with the Espathra's Sword Power. Yeah, this, I believe, +8. So this is a 180 base stored power with double power because of the special attack boost. So this might just be it. Bronzong comes out, actually, which is really good. It doesn't die instantly. It actually sucks that hit pretty well here. Going for the Stealth Rocks instead. Oh, buddy. Oh, if he had gone for like a Gyro Ball or something, it would have been a KO. The Store Power comes out. It actually lives here. What does he click? Iron Defense! No, bro. Oh, man. That feels rough. That feels really rough. Yikes. Yeah, going for any attack there would have at the very least picked up the Espathra. The Mew does come out here. The Sword Power connects. Mew lives at basically no HP. Goes for Iron Defense again in the face of a special attacker. That is very unfortunate. And I think that just comes down to maybe not being very familiar with, you know, the competitive scene. Or, you know, at the very least even, you know, figuring out, knowing which move to click and what time. Wow. Oh boy. Okay. Well, let's give this you know, a play-by-play here. So we'll go to the next turn. Turn 1. Go. So this turn 1 is actually like okay, I feel like. So the leads here I think are fine. So we'll do our kind of play-by-play here. Blightskin comes out. Pretty much what I would have done on 1 if I were Nook I would have probably considered switching just right away. There's sort of, in my opinion, there's sort of no reason to leave your weather setter out in the open like this. The only downside to this play would be if Sableye on 2 goes for the Thunderwave and it connects. That's the kind of the really only shitty part here. Because here on 2 we see the T-Wave came out and it missed. But sticking in and clicking Flamethrower here is just not great. Through the light screen actually reduces all special attack damage by 50%. So it cuts that power of that Flamethrower. Even though it's sun boosted and stabbed, it's getting cut in half. So we're seeing it's doing about 23, 26, somewhere in the mid 20s as far as damage. Out of without that screen, this would be doing closer to like 50. Um, but yeah, I would have switched out as soon as possible. I don't know what the set is on this Ninetales. Like, I don't know if it has like Heat Rock. I wasn't paying too close attention to the sun turns, but we'll find out, I guess, down the track here. Yeah, I would have gone for the switch out to just get, I think, a better position overall, because leaving your Sunsetter in like this is just such an awkward position. And you could have had the Venusaur out to just start maybe just clicking things, or the Gouging Fire could have come out. If it's a Dragon Dance set, which I assume it probably is, you could have already gone for a drag. You could be trying to position for a Dragon Dance already on 2. So same thing. If the like any of either of his Sun Sweepers were out in this position, they could be boosting, trying to get set up for, trying to take the game, and it sort of flips it on its head, right? Because if he is positioned properly, Nook actually has really good potential here. I don't know what the Venusaur set is or the Gouging Fire set is, because they kind of just died instantly. But if this is like a growth Venusaur in the sun with Sun Boost for Chlorophyll, he can just kind of just click whatever he wants here. Because the Great Tusk doesn't want to get hit. The Dozo definitely doesn't want to get hit. The only things it doesn't particularly want to stare down is like maybe the King Gambit and the Kyurem. But with, max speed, max special attack, paired with, 1 growth in the sun, it's still gonna chunk, A Sludge Bomb off of that, I don't think kills the Kyurem outright, but it's gonna do a lot, and Kyurem definitely doesn't want to, take those kinds of hits. But yeah, the main thing is on 1, I would have actually considered switching. Staying in here is a little awkward. Starting the parry here is like okay, in theory, but it feels like you're getting a good number of nothing burger turns, where the Sableye just goes for the light screen, and I think this is okay. Well, it wasn't like clay. Actually, we knew that's leftovers, but still, getting a few turns of reduced damage on the Sableye just sort of wastes a lot of Nook's time. I think he could have just gone for some really good positioning here, as opposed to leaving the Ninetales and getting that free damage off. I say free, it still damages damage sometimes, but I think in this case, this damage was pretty negligible. The burn here is actually really funny to me. And the Flamethrower actually dealt quite a bit of damage to the Espathra in the sun, even through that light screen. So in this case, there is an argument to be made, like, well, the light screen was probably going to go down in a turn, but so is the sun. Because I think it... No, the sun stays. So he could have potentially gone for something here, but the Espathra doesn't move first. It does, because I forgot the Ninetales is paralyzed. So this is suddenly just an odd position, And it's very unlucky that he got the paralyzed, but like I said, this would have been very different, I think, positionally, because in my head, this could have been Gouging Fire with a +1 from Dragon Dance, or a Venusaur with a +2 from Growth, or, any number of other things. Let's go here. So after, if I were in this case, so let's assume, we'll pick it up from this position. The moment Espathra comes out, you can pretty freely, in my opinion, switch into like the Bronzong or the Weavile. Switching earlier, I think, is much better than just getting, losing this unfortunate turn to the burn, and just preventing that setup, because I think Ninetales is paralyzed for 2 turns in a row, which is unfortunate RNG for sure, but had Nook gone for that switch out into Weavile a turn sooner, that may have been better, because he would have been more likely to break through that substitute much sooner, and just get that damage off, because here the Espathra is just getting set up with the +2/+2 and is going to outspeed. The Mud Slap is really deranged tech. But it is interesting. So I'll applaud Capcom for that. That is actually a really cool tech piece. Reducing accuracy on things that are going to want to stay in against this Espathra is really cool. Um, Also, assuming the Bronzong is not Levitate, it hits Bronzong. So weirdly, it gives you another option for an attacking move after the +2, which is very, very silly to me, but it's pretty cool. Um, so going knockoff here is fine. I agree with that. Breaks the sub. The following turn, going for the low kick, there's sort of never a reason to go low kick here because Espathra is mono psychic, so you're not going to really do any damage regardless. So going a second knockoff would have broken the sub, and even after a second or third accuracy drop here, because I think it's two accuracy drops so far. He'll take the third, I think, but also being able to have broken that sub sooner as opposed to a turn later. Like, because here, right, he gets the -1 accuracy, breaks the sub, goes for the sub here. If he had clicked knockoff on turn 9, it would have broken the sub right away. And then Espathra was just kind of in an awkward position, so then he would have to actually hard gamble Mud Slap accuracy drop for the potential miss on the knockoff. But also it does mean he can't click anything really because he can't substitute anymore because he's not recovering HP unless this is Roost, which I don't know if Espathra gets Roost. And here, Nook also has the option to switch out. I think switching into Bronzong soon here, like going for that switch right away to preserve Weavile and keep the accuracy reset, would have been a really good play. I'm not sure if our brand new players are aware, but actually if you switch out, you reset any stat changes. So switching here would have reset the accuracy on Weavile, and then Bronzong could have actually just come in and even just gone for Gyro Ball. Because a few turns, this is kind of nothing happens. Just knockoff misses a bunch of times, which is very unfortunate. But also it's sort of what happens when you stay in with like -3 accuracy, going to almost -6 even. And then from here, Ninetales comes out, just dies. Venusaur comes out, just dies. Gadget Fire comes out, dies. And the Bronzong comes out here, and this is what I mean, right? When I say Bronzong could have come out way sooner, it takes that Stork power. And if he had gone for a Gyro Ball here, this would have picked up the kill on Espathra, which would have meant no shutout. Because this thing does not give a crap about what this Espathra does. Assuming the Bronzong's ability was Levitate, it literally does not give it would not give a shit. So, assuming the Weavile, we'll go back a number of turns here. Like we'll go to like here. So assuming the sub was broken, go for the switch into Bronzong here, because Bronzong's typing allows it to live everything Espathra can throw. Especially after you know the moveset, right? Because you've seen Calm Mind, substitute, and it's substituted, and it's Mud Slapped. I know for a brand new player, assuming the Store Power as the last move slot might not be something normal. It might not be a familiar thought, but you could have gone for the safe switch regardless, because if you know your Levitate, it actually is very safe to go for that switch in. And then clicking a move like Gyro Ball would just let you kill this. And it would open up the game a fair amount, I would say, because if it was this position, Weavile switches, Bronzong comes in, and if he goes for the Mud Slap gamble, it wouldn't do anything if you're Levitate, and you force this either to switch or to die. Killing it would actually, I think, feel better. But it can also just go for a switch because I think Capcom would have to assess that this thing is going to be dead weight in front of the Bronzong with Levitate. So, this play was pretty critical. We'll skip around here. Bronzong comes out, takes a hit. And on this turn, this hurts a little bit, to be honest. But I can assume that this may be due to unfamiliarity. With how things interact. Going for the +2 defense there is, I would say, unfortunate, because, again, a Gyro Ball would have killed. Probably even just like a Psychic move would have killed, I think. Because there's no reason to ever go for a physical defense buff in the face of a special attacker. Increasing your physical defense doesn't make makes no difference. And this gets picked up, and then the Mew comes out at the very end. And again, going Iron Defense on the Mew. I can see this being kind of some cheeky tech, you know. Unfortunately, when you're starting down this Espathra, going for the boosting move is not the right call. I think going for maybe a Shadow Ball. I don't know what this Mew has, because we only saw a couple moves on each thing. But the Mew going for an offensive move to pick this up at any point, really the Bronzong, way earlier, picking this up would have made a huge difference. So I think in this case, a lot came down to unfamiliarity, which is fair. I understand. This is, from what I understand, this is Nook's real first time actually playing competitive Pokemon, which, thank you for joining the league for that. This is a great place to, learn, get familiar with things, and just have that, a cool experience. So I hope we get to see more of your games in the future, because it is going to be quite exciting, I would say, going through the rest of this season. This is only the first week, let's keep in mind, fellas. We got a lot of great games coming up, and there's lots of learning opportunities. I would say about half of the league participants this season are on the newer end of the scale. The majority of them, we'll just look at the draft pool here. Where is the standings? Not that one. Look at the cover. I think as far as, really experienced players, there's only a few of us who have like a ton of, I would say, singles experience. Like the majority, this is, a pretty, I would say, a fairly beginner-friendly league. And it's really cool seeing people get really excited about it too. Some of these, our players are good friends of mine, or, I associate with through like work or mutual friends and the like. And it's really cool being able to be like, hey, do you think of your team for this week? And they're like, yeah, I'm not sure if I want to run this or that. Or like, hey, I'm trying to tech against this. Can you, can we talk about it for a bit? Like, let's run some ideas here. And it's players who, to me, I don't think would have gotten really into Pokemon. So it's actually super cool. Are you a good friend? No. According to the lore, you're my enemy. So when we play later in the season, because I'm pretty sure I play you at some point. Where are you? I think we end the season. So when I play you in week 8, I'm killing you. Beginner-friendly draft. Nah, I mean, it's so really cool though. No, I'm glad, Blue Black, you are actually a participant of this season. It's very exciting. And between you, some of the other players in the league who've been messaging me on Discord, or have just been walking up to my desk at the office, it's super fun to actually get to talk about this with a whole group of people that I think out of everyone, I would only really talk about competitive singles with like 3 of us. So it's super fun. I've been having a great time. The first week of games has now officially concluded, which is great. Thank God I'm not going to do this again as far as reacting to every game or watching every game. I think what's the plan moving forward is I'm going to stream every Saturday morning around 10 a.m. Hawaii time. So if any players are available at that time, you get that fresh in the morning live commentary. Otherwise, I think toward the end of each seasonal week, I will be just doing a reaction to the replays, just kind of doing breakdowns of what I think happened, how I think things could have gone. I figure that could be really fun to watch and enjoy. So if you guys are into that, hey, keep up with the league. It's going to be great. But for our first game for Nook, I think this was a very good learning experience, and the same can really be said for a lot of our new players. If this is like a whole new experience for you, or if you never really played Pokemon outside of like your casual playthrough of like Pokemon Yellow or something, I can understand it's there's a lot to take in, and it can be very easy to make slip-ups or just not know. There is a knowledge kind of a difference, right? Because some players like myself or Cat Bomb or Ventus have been playing competitive for a very long time. But for our new players, like, do not hesitate to ask questions or seek help from some of the other members of the league. Nook, I believe in you, man. If you watch this replay, let me be real. I have a lot of confidence in you, and I think with just a bit of refinement, a bit more knowledge, maybe even a couple practice games or two, I think you can pull it together. You know, I believe everyone in the league has the potential to make it to the playoffs, and it's going to be really exciting seeing who can make it there. But yeah, I'm very excited. You know, we're waiting for I think my other admin didn't upload the stuff here, so we don't have the final tally. But looking ahead at week 2, it's going to be interesting. Nook versus Siege. I'm very excited to watch this game because these are 2 new players, and I think both of their drafts have a lot of potential, and it's going to be really, really cool seeing them play it out. We're also going to have Blue Black versus Ventus. So this is actually a really interesting one because Blue Black, and I know you're in chat, you've been going to Ventus for a lot of help over the last, for your first week and even prior to that. So it's going to be interesting. It's a sort of a student versus the teacher kind of game. So I can't wait to see how that one goes. JC versus Cat Bomb was another interesting one because Cat Bomb, I think, has a lot of experience. He's kind of talked about it, before, and kind of the way he played that game, I would say fairly intelligently. So he's got the sauce, and his team is pretty stacked. But also, the thing, I thought about this while I was at work today. For a lot of the newer players, there is an advantage because there's that unknown potential, Because I've been playing the game for years, right? And I know what I would do, I know what the standard player would do, but if you hit some of us with, like, wild shit, it could really throw a wrench in the plan, which is super cool. So, going, like, hearing some of the tech that people are trying to do, and I'm like, wow, if I were, your opponent, I'd be confused as shit. And it could actually work. Like, we had some crazy cool tech pieces coming out this week. I think one of the memorable ones was JC in her first week actually brought out a choice-banded Galarian Weezing with Play Rough to kill, to go after Kix's Excalibur, which was crazy cool. Like, that is some tech right there. I was such a fan. So, players are bringing out the sauce, even in just the first week. So, I'm very excited to see what other people, end up bringing. I'm glad you've been so impressed with excellent teammates. Yeah, no, I genuinely think everyone in the league has the potential, and a lot of the team comps I've been hearing are really cool. So I'm excited to see what, how the rest of the week shakes out. So looking at the other week 2 matchups, we have Lemons versus Big Honey. Big Honey had an unfortunate game this past week, given he took a Dusclops with Assault Vest while also carrying Will-O-Wisp and Pain Split. So a little bit of a mistake, but I spoke with him too. We had a post-game interview, and I think he's feeling okay about it. Mistakes happen, and I'm excited to see him face off against Lemons, who I know Lemons was doing a lot of calculating the last couple of days to prep for his game. So it'll be really cool to see how this sort of shakes out. I know Big Honey is a bit more familiar with Pokemon as a game, so I'm curious to see how they they'll figure that out, their matchup, because it'll be really cool, I think, to see. Another fun matchup, and this is what I'm excited for. I get to go up against my friend Kick. Kick is one of my my close friends, and I'm just here to see what happens when this really kind of spooky team, he's got Greninja, Slowking, Excalibur. The Snowcore is really it's gonna be rough to take care of. And he's packing, things like Sandy Shocks, Galvantula, Zebstrika Terra, which could be really crazy, actually. Terrablast Ice may just rip me a new one. Vikavolt as well is another scary mod. After an agility, it can outrun a ton of stuff. How his draft fares against a Dunsparce and another Dunsparce. So I'm going to be hopefully streaming that game tomorrow. So if you guys want to keep your eyes out on that, it's going to be live hopefully tomorrow morning. And I have not built my team yet, so I have a few hours really to prepare. But I've got some ideas. I think I'm going to whip out one of my favorite tech pieces this week. And we're going to hope beyond hopes that it works. I won't explicitly tell you guys what I'm going to run, but, you know, I think there's some potential for some really funny interactions this week. And I'm very excited for it. Who else we got? We got Mox Rayo versus Hakurai as well. It's going to be a cool game to see because I know Mox very well. We've been playing competitive for years. He and I think he actually got me into competitive back in Gen 5. You know, that's where I feel like we really cut our teeth on comp play. And I know he plays more defensive and he's very calculated. And Hakurai is actually kind of a wild card. While not being a new player to competitive, Hakurai cooks up weird shit all the time. And I think into a player who is, I would say, pretty careful and, you know, plays fairly defensively. It'll be interesting to see how Hakurai's kind of unconventional builds shake him up, you know. And last but not least, we have Chef Jash versus Jace of Spades. Chef Jash has actually a really cool draft. I feel like he's got a really cool sand core. Unfortunate that we didn't see it this first week. I was really hoping for it. I really wanted to see, you know, him pout on boosting in Excadrill. Alas, we didn't. So I'm curious to see if he's going to bring it out this week. His opponent was it was actually my week 1 opponent, Jace of Spades. And Jace has a pretty nasty team comp. It took me a bit to really figure out what were my answers against his teams, and I know what my answers were. I'm not too sure if Jash can put together the same kind of comp that I did, because obviously the draft pools are different, and you know, I had my best friend Ogre Pond Water and a snake, so it'll be really cool to see what ends up happening for that game. I think there's some really cool potential for some very odd plays in like a really cool way. Would like to see that one go. I'm not sure if they'll be able to join us Saturday morning, but regardless, I'll watch the replay come Friday next week. So I'm quite excited. Chat, I hope you guys are quite excited. I know at least one of the participants in the league is in chat, and I hope you are excited for your game, because it's going to be rough. But don't let that, you know, don't be put, you know, downed by, oh no, my opponent's super experienced, oh no. I've been telling some of the other players this as well. Don't get yourself down just because you're matching up against a experienced or historied player, because anything can happen, you know. Pokemon is a great game, and it's a game of inches. So if you're able to just push a little bit ahead of your opponent, you could take it home off of, you know, some careful play. But yeah, I'm quite excited. I'm quite looking forward to it. And I hope that everyone is, you know, gonna be, whoever's there is there. And to my chat, I hope you guys are gonna join us as well as we move into the official week 2 of the league. But before I close out, I will circle back to just say one thing. Nook, if you take your team again and you don't take Rhyperior at all this season, I'm cutting off your arms. I swear to God. You took Rhyperior from me, and if you don't use it, I'm gonna be pissed. So you better fucking find a way to make my boy work, or I know where you sleep, my guy. But anyway, chat, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I appreciate all of you who are here. Jupetta, if you're still here, thank you. Really, thank you for the 2 gifted subs. I get to eat 1/2 of one of those really shitty microwave rice bowls tomorrow. So thank you for supporting my dinner, and probably lunch, and maybe breakfast, depending on how far we stretch it. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Keep your eyes out for tomorrow, because that's when we're going to be streaming the rest of the, you know, we're going to stream the first couple games of week 2. And if you aren't already, hit this channel with a follow if you like it. If you're not already following, I'm assuming all 3 of you in chat are, so thanks, love you, appreciate it. And feel free to hit the subscribe button on that YouTube channel, actually, because it is new. I fixed it. And we are uploading a lot of those VODs and the replays and stuff there because it just is a bit more convenient. So thanks again, guys. Hope you have a great rest of your day. I'm out. Peace.